Hey everybody, welcome to my video walkthrough of my CLI application for Flatiron School. I'm going to start by how you can get my gem. You can go right here to rubygems.org. You can type in strainer. You'll get a couple options, minus strainer 2.0, or you can just search by strainer 2. And it'll come right up here. You can go ahead and download it from there. From here, I'll just take you right into the environment that I set up here. I'm requiring OpenURI, net HTTP, JSON, TTY prompt, and URI handler. So going into the actual strainer file here, you can see I required the relative environment there and attribute parser. This is what actually does most of the lifting for this portion of it. So we can run it by doing Ruby, going into our library, opening it here, and you'll see that the very first thing that it does here is it's going to choosing the all option returns a lot of data. Be ready for it. That's at the API manager's request that gets put in there because it does return a ton of information. But basically what this does, it allows you to return any information that you want to find for any strain of marijuana. You can search by name, race, effect, flavor, or like I said, you could return all the options. Using TTY prompt allowed me to have this sort of menu option here. I was going to use Ruby's built-in option parser, but I just like the effect of this much better. So if we wanted to search by like a particular race, we could do that. The next prompt is by what race would you like to search for? It lets you know if nothing is returned, then that search term that you put in isn't one that is listed. It gets this term here from that user input, it stores it, and then it will list it here. So if you did choose by name, it would change this to say by which name would you like to search for. Since we chose race, we can do sativa, and it'll return every strain that is a sativa. You can clear that out. I'm going to go ahead and cd into the lib and then cd into strainer, so I don't have to keep typing that. So now we're back at the prompt here. We can choose any of the other options. You can choose by the effect. Say you wanted this for pain management. You could type in pain, and it would list every strain that's good at treating pain. Clear that again. Same thing for the flavor. You can do sweet if you wanted to see all the strains that have a flavor listed as sweet. It'll even tell you their name, their race. You can get more specific information than this too if you search by name. You can say type in Blue Dream, for instance, and it'll return a lot more detailed information. Now this one returns more because there's a couple varieties. There's Dark Blue Dream and Super Blue Dream, but it'll tell you more information here. Like it's a gently sedating twist on a classic. You can read up on it as you like. So that's the main portion of the strainer.rb file here. It pulls from the environment and the attribute parser, which, like I said, this passes those as you make your choices through the list. It stores that and it brings it down here, and it'll put that into the actual attribute parser that we create right here. It'll do it first choice. Let me turn on word wrap. So there we go. So you can see the first choice. Now the second choice, it gets encoded here using this URI encode because the second choice can have spaces. But we don't want spaces at the end, so we still want it to do the chomp. But say, for instance, like I did with blue dream, there's a space between blue and dream, but when we put that into our URL, we have to encode it first. Like it says here, it changes the spaces in the user's input into 8-bit, or it changes it basically to the %20 into the URL so that it can be properly parsed out. That way you can include spaces in your name searches and not get just an error, which is usually what it does if you don't include that portion. So the gem strainer pulls from this API. It's called the strain API. It's pretty easy to get a key. You do have to apply for one. The queries are pretty easy to set up, and this is where it pulled most of my information from.